What I'm doing right now, my shoulder broke, but we still getting to the money. We still counting paper. This ain't a pump and dump, baby.
How do you feel about the rapper Rick Ross having the same name?
Well, the fact that he stole my name, not that we had the same name, he actually stole my whole story, my identity, the whole thing. You know, he built his career off of my legacy.
His career that you have any respect for?
Oh, no, there's nothing there.
50 Cent is currently having a lot of fun because Rick Ross just pulled off one of the slickest moves ever on Big Meech. The irony is that everyone, except for Big Meech, expected this betrayal, even though Meech supposedly put a hit on him. The internet is buzzing about this drama, as if it were the last episode of the most intriguing reality TV show. But let's examine this strange situation in more detail.
Knew perfectly damn well what he was doing.
50 Cent has been mocking Big Meech and Lil Meech on social media ever since he was thrown under the bus by Rick Ross. What's most absurd, though, is that Big Meech was out there hugging Rick Ross like he was a savior just a few months after being released from prison, rather than keeping his distance and showing respect to the man who had been honest with him. Meech hooked up with Ross after realizing that Ross had been a lifelong adversary of the 1950s. As Big Meech confronts Rick, 50 Cent wasn't really prepared for him to act like the rival that he is. It had to hit 50 like a ton of bricks for Meech to smirk and make fun of Ross, as though he had been into him for the past 20 years. As if that betrayal wasn't enough, Big Meech went one step further and spent time with Floyd Mayweather, while Lil Meech retaliated by chasing 50. Really, that's how you pay back a man who gave your son $5 million in real money and kept you in the game for all those years. Some could argue that Big Meech made a fortune off of his nickname, but at least he produced something. Being the shrewd player that he is, Rick Ross took advantage of the spotlight, sought power, and inflated his own ego since he knew this whole situation was going to blow up. What did he do as the situation became heated? He drew back faster than you could blink before anyone realized what was happening. How else could you explain Ross's sudden shoulder injury and how, as soon as things got ugly, he made sure the entire internet knew about it?
Was in on it.
What I'm doing right now, my shoulder broke, but we still getting to the money. We still counting paper. This ain't a pump.
And believe me, things just get stranger from here. It seems like we are now supposed to sympathize with him. In addition to using his shoulder condition as an excuse to avoid Big Meech, Rick Ross also used it as a means of evading his devoted supporters, whom he misled with his cryptocurrency boss token. Online, fans began referring to him as Rick Ross due to he actually crashed and caught everyone who trusted him with their money off guard. In case you missed it, it's telling that he was caught fronting on Big Meech a few days later. Worse, there are rumors that Big Meech was urged to get in touch with Rick Ross. As a way to increase his income, 50 Cent said, "You really can't make this stuff up right now." Other musicians are avoiding Big Meech because they believe he has bad luck, and he is currently without anything. Rick Ross supposedly put the Wingstop franchises that everyone thought Big Meech would profit from up for auction, keeping only a handful so he could. If Rick Ross hadn't been an obstacle, he would have this money if he had invested it in his real estate business. Since Big Meech continued his careless actions throughout the game, he was unable to create a significant comeback. They lost everything when Little Meech tried to blow stacks on his Chrome Hearts jeans and flex like Gunna while they were out. At the moment, Big Meech is being made fun of for his quickness. This alleged friendship with Rick Ross did not turn out to be successful. I don't feel sorry for Lil Meech or Big Meech, because they are both grown men who should have known better than to do this, and 50 Cent is just stoking the flames online, explained Michael Rainey Jr., one of the toughest critics.
Meech, I don't feel bad for no grown man in this planning. Like, I'm a grown man. Why the fuck I gotta feel bad for another grown man? Like, you a grown man too, and you asking for my sympathy for it, you be alright.
DJ Vlad says, "You'd rather not be on 50's bad side, man. You have no idea how out of control 50 Cent can get when he is around his adversaries. To make his point, anything will be destroyed.
If you put him off, his own chicken sometimes too. You know, he'll cancel BMF to prove a point.
But Rick Ross has abandoned his own crew to fend for themselves in the desert, so it's not only Big Meech. After leaving them to have fun in Canada, he came back and said he was only pushing them. That is really awful. But that was always Rick Ross's strategy, even if he had been spying on the game from the beginning. Whack 100 even exposed 50 as the real villain in this whole fiasco with Big Meech.
Who's the bad guy? I don't think there's a bad guy.
No, yes it is. That Vlad, let's talk about it.
I think Meech is the one that made a mistake.
No,
No? You think 50?
no,
Lil Meech.
no.
Who am I forgetting now?
Rick Ross knew perfectly damn well what he was doing and what the
Ross had a clear goal and gave Meech a lot of exposure, making him seem like his ride or die while trying to flip him against 50. For this reason, Ross was never really Big Meech's friend from the start. But let's be realistic, it was all uppercase in the end. Indeed, 100 had a point. Rick Ross was still out there criticizing 50 and talking about obtaining the rights to the BMF series, even though everyone knew that his only goal was to assist Big Meech in getting back on his feet. Ross has since parted ways with Big Meech, and he had no intention of following through on their partnership. Big Meech no longer promotes anything that could increase his personal wealth. Furthermore, there are rumors that Rick Ross may have been the reason behind the cancellation of Big Meech's welcome benefit party, despite the fact that he gave us all the impression that 50 Cent was pulling the strings. The simple reason is that Ross would have preferred to see Meech stay in his current role than benefit from that performance and make a significant game-changing comeback. The 50-year-old said, "I had nothing to do with this, quit calling my phone," after he published the post and then removed it. "I wish you a pleasant day. Greetings on Valentine's Day. You are unaware of my power." Many people didn't get it at first, but now things are starting to make sense. Meech believed Ross was backing him up when Ross claimed, "I think I'm Big Meech" in the BMF song. Maybe it's something. But I'll give you a thought that will leave you wondering, what? If Rick Ross truly desired Big Meech, if you stop to think about it, Ross has a history of basing his entire brand on the identities of other people, particularly those that belong to the rap dynasty. The facts are as follows. The rapper's name was actually based on the real Rick Ross, a notorious mobster who was imprisoned when he made his appearance. In addition to calling him out, he even attempted to sue him after the real Rick Ross was revealed. This ridiculous stance in the game calls into question loyalty and ambition.
Rapper Rick Ross having the same name.
Well, the fact that he stole my name, not that we had the same name, he actually stole my whole story, my identity, the whole thing. You know, he built his career.
The real Rick Ross, who had a company in the 1980s, sued the rapper for trademark infringement and identity theft in 2010. The rapper claimed that the entire situation was a fraud and that he came up with the moniker himself. But in 2013, the judge ultimately decided in his favor. For the record, Ross was probably not trying to play the same trick, given all of the foregoing. He was more well-known, wealthier, and let's not forget, a former police officer, so the odds were in his favor. In addition, the judge determined that Ross's use of the name was protected by the First Amendment, meaning that the real Rick Ross lost the lawsuit, and that William Leonard Roberts may continue to use the name without any problems. The BF line that says, "I think I'm Big Meech." He starts acting as though he has Meech's back right away once Meech leaves, but he fails terribly when it comes to helping Meech make a genuine comeback. This is precisely how Rick Ross treated Larry Hoover in 2021. Ross has been using Larry Hoover, an actual kingpin in the game, to increase his song popularity while he was a prisoner. There are claims that Ross paid the gangster disciples millions of dollars to continue riding Hoover's coattails. However, when it came time to fully support Hoover's quest, the man abandoned him rather than attempt to help. Rather, he was out here profiting from Hoover's heritage without returning a cent. Put another way, many people were forcing Rick Ross to handle the problem. And many people still claim that he fumbled and was too afraid to attend the stadium. And now we are once more. History is repeating itself. Therefore, it seems logical that 50 Cent previously stated that he didn't think Rick Ross was a human. The man could turn against you at any time.
His career that you have any respect for?
Oh, no, there's nothing there.
Big Meech and Lil Meech are allegedly begging as they run from celebrity to celebrity, while he's out there working on new ventures and piling up that paper. 50 is most likely simply relaxing and laughing at all of this chaos, you know that. The most absurd thing, wow, is that they do that merely to keep their heads above water for a few seconds. Hello, Rick. Ross began to chuckle and curse at 50 because he believed that they were unable to raise the money for his film studio. But a few days ago, that loan was approved. Given that he was boasting about getting 50's masters only a few weeks ago, Rick Ross is obviously incensed that he is now realizing that 50 isn't the right player to play with. The entire assertion now seems completely ludicrous in hindsight.
I'll buy your masters. You ready? I will buy you.
Though it seems a little late for 50 to incorporate Lil Meech again or help Big Meech at this time, it's clear that some lessons have finally clicked when it comes to Lil Meech and Big Meech. I must say that throughout this entire story, Zip with the Drip has been a voice that has been heard. He made an early prediction while watching this scenario unfold and saw that 50 Cent was disclosing details regarding Big Meech. And when things became out of control, Rick Ross would eventually leave Big Meech. Many fans are talking about it in the present day. Meech is generally viewed by most in the industry as a washed-up character, particularly after his one chance at a comeback was lost. All that time in prison should have given him wisdom, or at least a better understanding, right? A novel perspective on negotiating these streets, but in practice, it's been the complete opposite, which is why one user wrote, "Let me get this straight. There's a word for it. This karma is being served fresh out of the oven right now as a former correctional officer reverses course on a prisoner. Who could have expected it? And then another dishonest man beats up another dishonest man. But I did." How do you feel about all this chaos? I'm eager to understand. Since Big Meech is also being reprimanded for supposedly abandoning his childhood friend, do you think he plans to exact revenge on Rick Ross, or will he choose to overlook that betrayal? Please leave a comment below if you have any thoughts.